Titbull's Almshouses by Charles Dickens. Narrated by David McCran. By the side of most railways out of London, one may see almshouses and retreats, generally with a wing or a centre wanting, and ambitious of being much bigger than they are, some of which are newly founded institutions, and some old establishments transplanted. There is a tendency in these pieces of architecture to shoot upward unexpectedly, like Jack's beanstalk, and to be ornate in spires of chapels and lanterns of halls, which might lead to the embellishment of the air with many castles of questionable beauty, but for the restraining consideration of expense. However, the manners, being always of a sanguine temperament, comfort themselves with plans and elevations of loomings in the future, and are influenced in the present by philanthropy towards the railway passengers. For the question how prosperous and promising the buildings can be made to look in their eyes usually supersedes the lesser question, how they can be turned to the best account for the inmates. Why none of the people who reside in these places ever look out of the window, or take an airing in a piece of ground which is going to be a garden by and by, is one of the wonders I have added to my always lengthening list of the wonders of the world. I have got it into my mind that they live in a state of chronic injury and resentment, and on that account refuse to decorate the building with a human interest. As I have known legatees deeply injured by a bequest of £500 because it was not 5,000, and as I was once acquainted with a pensioner on the public to the extent of 200 a year, who perpetually anathematized his country because he was not in the receipt of 4, having no claim whatever to sixpence, so perhaps it usually happens, within certain limits, that to get a little help is to get a notion of being defrauded of more. How do they pass their lives in this beautiful and peaceful place? Was the subject of my speculation with a visitor who once accompanied me to a charming rustic retreat for old men and women, a quaint ancient foundation in a pleasant English country, behind a picturesque church and among rich old convent gardens. There were but some dozen or so of houses.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?